Hello, everybody. Welcome back. For those who are following us, welcome the new people who just discovered us. This is Irina Strunina and our podcast, Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360. We meet here every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and every Thursday, we meet with some healthcare professionals, with some people who are on their daily basis while when they're working, they meet with people with diabetes. So they have their ideas, their expertise, their experiences that they had, and I am grateful that they agreed to meet with me here and share it with our audience. I also wanted to say that the very last Thursday of the month, we meet with warriors. We have a special warrior edition when people who live with diabetes and kind of experiencing it from inside are sharing their experiences and their challenges and their aha moments. So, if you feel like you are the one who needs to share the story of your life and experience with diabetes, please reach out to me and let me know so we can schedule the interview with you and you will be able to have this available for people who may get inspired by your experiences. So, but today we have a special guest, Daniela Wolfe. She is my returning speaker. She already participated once in our expo. And I would like to just, Daniela, thank you for joining me here and just tell us about you, what you are doing, why you are doing that, and then we will continue just giving more details.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be back and kind of continue our conversation. So, if we haven't met yet, I'm Daniela Wolfe. My business is Best D Life, helping you find the bliss in your busy. I'm a full time LMSW, licensed master social worker. So, I've been doing that for 27 years, trained in all things mindfulness, stress management, coping strategies, as well as I'm a burnout prevention specialist and self care strategist. So I help busy professionals kind of ditch the guilt and overwhelm, take care of their daily tasks with some ease and breathing room, and have the space and energy for self care throughout their day in order to take charge of their work, life, and well being.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Daniela. Um, I have a question for you. I
Yeah.
know I was the one who reached out to you in the first place, and you agreed to speak in front of our audience that primarily interested about this diabetic care, how to help themselves or their loved ones who have this diagnosis. Why did you agree to be here with me?
Absolutely, because I think people sometimes, when they think about diabetes, they only think about the physical piece of it, their blood sugar, the insulin, and those types of pieces of it. But the effect of stress on our body, on our sugar levels, on our overall health and well being can be huge. And so, being able to look at the fact that, we need to be able to take care of other parts of our lives in order to manage our diabetes, in order to stay healthy and in a good place. And so I think just to kind of bring an awareness to that, as well as to kind of help get through some of those obstacles that keep us from prioritizing our well-being, from taking care of ourselves. Like I said, not just on the physical aspects. Sometimes we wait until we're sick in order to seek out help, but to look at it from a preventative standpoint as well. Just like we think about our physical wellness and our physical fitness, to look at our mental wellness and our mental fitness and create that resilience is going to help kind of decrease that impact that your diabetes might have in your day-to-day life.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for that because a lot of times people get this diagnosis unexpectedly. It's a shock.
Mm-hmm.
People, I see it every day in our Facebook group, Diabetes 101 for Beginners. People, new people are posting, I just got this diagnosis. I just got this email from doctor's office. I just got this phone call from doctor's office. I cannot believe it. I am depressed. I am destroyed. I don't know what to do. People afraid to eat, people afraid to even think about it. It's really grieving process in all its stages that they going through. And to have you and people like yourself helping them to cope with this and get a handle on their stress is so important, so important, and thank you for doing that. Okay, so now here's the question. In your professional opinion,
Mm-hmm.
when someone got this phone call, unfortunately, this happens so often when people get the phone call, email, text message from doctor's office about their diagnosis, but that phone call, text message, or email does not have much information about what to do. What does
Mm-hmm.
it mean? A lot of times people are saying, I'm done. It means I'm dying. And they are wrong. They're so wrong. But until they come to this realization, takes time. So, in your opinion, when people get this news that they didn't want to hear,
Mm-hmm.
what would you recommend people how they can help themselves to get this not calm, you cannot be calm, but
Yeah.
to get the stress under control, to kind of manage it so you will not be crying all the time. This is what I hear. I am
Mm-hmm.
crying all the time, and doesn't matter man or woman, they all are sharing this. This is a very vulnerable position they find themselves hopeless. So
Yeah.
what would you recommend people how they can help themselves in this situation?
Definitely. A lot of times, when life kind of throws us a curveball and sends us unexpected things, we start to spiral in our own head. And so when I work with
Yes,
clients in general, we always start with our mindset, because when you think differently, you feel differently. And when you feel differently, you act differently. And so looking at your mindset, because we hold on to some preconceived notions sometimes of what we think, oh, the life the way I know it's going to be over. I'm not going to be able to have fun anymore. We have a lot of these limiting beliefs, even about something that we're not familiar with. Sometimes it's our lack of knowledge, our lack of information that then creates a lot of these kind of false myths that we choose to believe. And we start to then react based on that mindset versus being able to take our mindset, take a step back, and really start to look at what's fact versus fiction, bust open some of those myths, and kind of talk to ourselves the same way we would talk to a friend, who
mhm.
just found out. What would we say to them? Would we say, yep, you better just pack it in because your life's not going to be the same? Or we say, well, okay, let's talk about it. Let's approach this. Let's get more information. Let's communicate, and to start to have those same conversations with yourself is going to be really key when it comes to then how you approach your treatment and your lifestyle going forward.
Yes, definitely, definitely. I know that we have a lot of people in our Facebook group. We have different variation of reactions that people have. Some get very depressed, some get very angry, some
Mm-hmm.
will get very anxious, and this all are coming really to what you are saying. Yes, people start beating themselves up. But I knew it. My mom told me that. I've been reading about it. My parent had this. I've heard about those stories. It's all my fault. And when they attack themselves, they really making themselves incapable of making, good decisions, making,
Absolutely.
understanding what is going on. So, what do you have any kind of like tip what people can do to
Mm-hmm.
help themselves to calm down, to become more rational about the situation?
Right. Well, like I said, that first piece is definitely that mindset and working through, again, that mindset piece of changing the thoughts you're thinking, looking at where they come from. Is it because, like you said, my grandmother personally had diabetes, but granted, that was 30, 40 years ago, and it's completely changed the way diabetes is managed, the way you're tracking your blood sugar, all sorts of things. And so, really, again, communicating, getting that information, and kind of stopping some of those limiting beliefs is that first piece. The next piece, like you said, when it comes to managing stress, because your life is going to be different. And, when I talk about like work life balance, work life flow, work life harmony, that balance isn't about everything in life being perfect and going well and everything being equal. But your balance is going to come from how you adapt, how you pivot, how you have that resilience, and the boundaries that you put in your life. And the boundaries are a great thing. A lot of times boundaries get a bad rap, but they can be so helpful when it comes to now maintaining this new healthy lifestyle, this new way of managing your stress. Because it's not just about what you have to say no to, whether it's different foods or different, habits that you already had, but saying yes to a lot of new things as well as part of a boundary, saying yes to more movement possibly in your day, saying yes to some healthier, different food choices, saying yes to self-care every day throughout your day. And that's that third piece that I help people with is your self-care. And now that you've figured out your mindset and your time and those boundaries, putting self-care into every single day is critical because it's not a luxury, it's not a nice to have, it's a daily necessity, just like eating and brushing your teeth. And just like you wouldn't eat on Sunday and think you wouldn't be hungry by Tuesday, you don't do self-care once on Saturday and think you're going to be stress-free and relaxed every day. And so self-care, it's a lifestyle, and it's the things that recharge you throughout your day, just like you eat 3 times a day. And so it's everything from how you eat to how you sleep, how you move, how you connect with others, how you dress, even how you decorate and organize your home, plus that personal development of meditation, mindfulness, journaling, and doing those things, hobbies that you maybe gave up or things like that, refinding yourself and recreating a lifestyle that is now something that you can almost look forward to, that you're happy with. It kind of all flows together in a way that can really reframe what having diabetes does in your life and how you view that diagnosis.
Absolutely. And, we had recently our support group meeting. We have it not every Wednesday, but every other Wednesday. And our one of our admins was on this meeting this time. And when she was telling her story to newly diagnosed, the ones who just joined our group, she told the story and then she said, as a matter of fact, I am considering that that was a blessing
Yeah.
that I got diagnosed because that forced me to finally start making those smart choices, to finally start making more movement bringing more movements in my life, start cooking in a house instead of going to the fast food and grabbing something that is not that healthy in most cases. So you're right. This is something that we forget. We forget about self-care.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. It unfortunately
especially.
gets pushed to the bottom of the priority list when it really is that key thing that's going to help you work through challenging times. Like I said, that mental fitness and that resilience comes from being able to kind of put all these preventative factors in place. I got stuck on that
Yeah,
word.
yes. This is something that we, especially women, are very not very good at. We are good at taking care of others. We are good at taking care of the household, kids, maybe, parents or older friends, the spouses. This is what women are really good at. And what they are really not so good is finding
Mm-hmm.
time to take care of themselves.
And
And
actually, my own personal journey started from my self-care journey because I
mhm,
did hit a place of burnout where I had gone through divorce. I had 2 little kids, and I was taking care of everybody else. I was putting their needs ahead of myself. I was working a full-time job, and unfortunately, not only through being burnt out, I was irritable, I was snapping, and I found that by putting everyone else's needs first, I wasn't able to show up as my best self for them, for my job, for anything. And over time, not only when I did start practicing some self-care, I did a daily gratitude practice. I started going to a gym. I used the free childcare there, and found not only was I showing up better, but everybody else around me was too, and it really does benefit everybody else when you do start taking care of yourself first. I know it's so cliche. People say, like on the airplane, you put your airbag on first before
Yeah.
other people. You have to, you can't pour from an empty cup. And unfortunately, they're cliche for a reason though, because they truly, do have an impact on how you show up to everybody else. Plus, you're teaching everybody else around you what the priorities are, how to treat you, what's important. And so if you want people, to start taking care of you, you need to show, this is how I take care of myself. This is how, we handle stress. This is how we're going to stay in a good place and be healthy together as a family by putting these practices in place and showing up for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I just was thinking about in on our expo, we have a part, one section when we talk about how families can help
Mm-hmm.
people with diabetes, how kids can get involved and help. And pre-phrase before that, I use this little quote saying that I don't remember word to word, but basically is saying that kids were never good at following the direction, but they were
Mm-hmm.
always very good in copying on what you are doing. So if
Absolutely. I
you,
would always say that too. They do what you do and not what you say. And so by modeling not only how to treat you, but how to manage stress themselves. My own kids, they're young adults now, and I can see the difference it made when it comes to how they're handling their stress. My daughter's in college, my son works, if they have a bad day, they might go for a walk, do some journaling, take some time to be with a friend, and learn the benefits of that self-care in order to be their best selves in their roles as well.
exactly, exactly. And this is something that we, knowing about it
Mm-hmm.
and doing it, there are two different things, and this is something that we very often are lacking. And I know that my husband, for example, it's not that he was completely abandoning his own health, and periodically he would have those periods in his life when he would do everything that he needs to do in terms of the food, in terms of the exercise. The sleeping was a little bit tough, but even that, but then something happens and like he didn't know about it at all, and he slips back to his old self when he needed to take care of the customers, of projects, of clients, all this. uh, and I saw how in those periods of time he will become the snappy person, not happy, always tired, always exhausted, always behind on on a project, trying to finish everything in the last minute, because even his productivities were
Oh yeah.
lowering when his blood sugar is not under control, when his stress level is very high. So
Yeah.
it's so related, so related.
As well as even just the genetic genetic predisposition. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I couldn't say that. In families, when you start to create that healthy lifestyle for yourself, you're going to help put those protective factors in place for your family to maybe keep them from maybe a type 2 diabetes or things that sometimes lifestyle can have an influence on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is so much to talk about. Okay, so do you have one technique? Can you share one technique? I don't know what it could be. Breathing, tapping, whatever that people can learn from us, like today, real quick,
Yeah.
how they could calm themselves down when they feel that they even running out of breath, so irritated they are.
Absolutely. And actually, I recommend doing this practice even when you're not stressed, because part of why they call it a practice is you start to create that muscle memory so that when you do this
Mhm.
activity, your body knows this is what I do when I'm calm and relaxed, and is actually able to get you into that state quicker. And so I have a super fast, simple self-care practice you can start today. You're going to put a reminder in your phone and set a timer for 1 minute. And you're going to set this reminder for 5 times throughout your day to just go off, and then you sit for 1 minute, and you're not going to scroll on social media. You're not going to throw a load of laundry in. You're just going to sit for 1 minute and do maybe some deep breathing where you inhale for 4, hold for 4, out for 6 to 8, and then to keep doing that breathing, maybe some shoulder shrugs, maybe have a glass of water and hydrate. And this simple little act of sitting and being present for 1 minute, and 1 minute can feel like a long time when you're not distracted by other things, will actually start to physiologically lower your cortisol levels, lower your stress levels, start to increase even dopamine levels, because now you have a 1 minute practice 5 times a day. You have a 5 minute self-care practice. You set a goal, you achieved it. So that's going to increase your positive chemicals as well. And over time, the consistency of doing this small practice for 1 minute 5 times a day is going to start having some benefits. Just something as small and simple as this. And so if you start that today, you start it tomorrow morning, you set it up in your phone, maybe you find after a minute, you're like, I've got another 30 seconds, I've got another minute. And you start to build on these practices. And that's where you start to then see it throughout your entire day. It can be something then you can tune into, even if you're sitting, say, at a traffic light, you're like, oh, I've got another 30 seconds here. And you learn how to kind of tune into that time for you and see those small benefits just from that intention of taking that space starts to then have those benefits as well. So that's a super simple self-care practice you can start right now.
Definitely. Yeah, this is something not to that doesn't require special preparation. You don't need to go
Oh, no
anywhere.
cost.
It's not taking away from you anything because 1 minute, we always have 1 minute. So
Absolutely.
it just adds some quality to our day, right? This 1 minute at a time.
Mm-hmm.
This is very, I need to try to do that. Yeah,
Oh,
because for me, I know what you're talking about because I myself found on YouTube a channel, and this is to help myself to kind of relax and go to fall asleep. And
mm-hmm.
the person who has this channel, she has a little like 30-second talk, kind of introducing herself for people who just discovered, and then she'll say, deep breath in and breath out. Let's do it again. Breath in and breath out. And then she talks about something. I myself am following her already over a year. On the second breath in, I'm out. I don't
Okay.
know what she was talking about the rest of those 30 minutes of her little podcast that she has. So it took some time for my brain, for my body to learn it, but because I've been doing it for long enough time, almost every day, it definitely works.
Mhm.
About this body memory that you're talking about, it definitely helps to help.
That's awesome.
All right. Okay, Danielle, I have a question for you real quick. Unfortunately, we need to wrap up. So before we finish, I wanted you to tell us about the exciting news in your life. Please tell us what is it and how we can learn more about it.
Absolutely. So the exciting news is I have a book out called Balance Breakthrough, um, a guide for busy professionals to take charge of your work life and well-being, and all the principles I talk about when it comes to your work-life balance, mental fitness, working on your mindset, time planning, and self-care. I lay it all out in the book. It also comes with a digital workbook to really help you start to implement these strategies for yourself. And I just love the fact that, I can have that impact and hopefully reach more people and really helping them to make these changes for themselves. That's my ultimate goal and passion, is to help people create that lifestyle that feels good, that works for them, that helps them really enjoy every single day in some way. And, even when we're dealing with struggles like an illness, like a diagnosis of some sort, we can still find our way to work through it and have that resilience and not let it define us and the rest of our lives. So it's called Balance Breakthrough. You can find it on Amazon as well as on my website, bestdlife.com. And please, if you have any questions, absolutely reach out and let me know.
Yes, great. And we will post the links to both your website and to this Amazon book on Amazon in the comment section under this podcast. And so people who would like to learn more, who would like to connect with you, they will have a chance to go ahead and do it for themselves. So before we say goodbyes, let me do something here that I need to do for our listeners. I need to let them know what is available in our Facebook group, Diabetes 101 for Beginners, because we are working every week to bring more information, more help to people. So, what I wanted to share, one thing I wanted to remind to those who maybe forgot for whatever reason, or the newcomers, that every Tuesday we have the event that is called Telenurse Tuesday, when we have registered nurse answering your questions. I post this banner, and you are welcome to type your questions in the comment section under this banner, and at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, our nurse will go over those questions and will type in the answer. So she will not show up her face, but she will be present there and answer your questions. Every other Wednesday, we have our support group meetings. We meet at 7 p.m. in Zoom, not in the Facebook. So there will be a link to this Zoom meeting where you click on that link and you will get to the Zoom, where we are meeting just our group members and our admins, and sometimes we have healthcare professionals joining us there, and we're discussing whatever challenges you have. It may be about food, it may be about physical activities, it may be about stress. Just recently we had a pretty good conversation about stress. So that's our Wednesdays. On Thursdays, of course, we have our podcast, Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360, every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that, I wanted to say, Daniela, thank you very much for being available today, for joining me for this podcast, sharing your information. Congratulations on your book. This is exciting, this is great, and I am glad that our members will have a chance to check it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. And we will see you next Thursday.